We're about to take a journey back to 1993, a key year in rap history. We'll be talking about the top artists with debut albums that helped shape the future of rap. It was a year filled with new faces, raw talent, and groundbreaking hits. These albums weren't just records, they were cultural milestones, each contributing to the evolution of hip-hop. Cash rules everything around me. These iconic lines echo the vibes of Wu-Tang Clan's debut album, Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. Released in 1993, it was an explosion that shook the East Coast hip-hop scene. Wu-Tang, a collective of 9 rappers from Staten Island, brought a new sound and style that was unheard of at the time. Their raw, gritty lyrics, laced with kung fu movie references and street wisdom, combined with RZA's innovative production, created a groundbreaking masterpiece. 36 Chambers was not just an album, it was an experience that transported listeners into the grimy streets of New York City. The album was a huge success. It not only catapulted Wu-Tang Clan into the limelight, but also set the stage for solo careers of its members. Each member brought their own unique flavor to the mix, and their individual successes after this album are a testament to their talent. From Ghostface Killah's storytelling to Method Man's charismatic flow, each member found their own space in the hip-hop landscape. It was a cultural phenomenon that challenged the status quo and redefined hip-hop. The success of this album also paved the way for Wu-Tang's ventures outside of music. From clothing lines to TV shows, their influence has gone into all facets of pop culture, solidifying their place as one of the most influential groups ever. The legacy of Into the Wu-Tang continues throughout. It's regarded as one of the greatest albums of all time, reminding us of the power of their dynamic art form. Dive into the influence of Fat Joe's debut album, Represent, released in 1993. Represent broke into the industry with a huge impact in the New York area. No one could have predicted the magnitude of change that this album would create. Represent was a reflection of Fat Joe's experiences, produced by Diamond D. Each track was a testimony of his struggles, his victories, and his solid mindset. It was an album that impacted a generation who saw how authentic his storytelling was. He later emerged as an unstoppable force and continued to resonate with other artists and listeners. Undeniably, Fat Joe's Represent was the beginning of a career that left a mark on the hip-hop landscape. Queens, New York saw the release of Mobb Deep's Juvenile Hell. The gritty streets of New York found a voice in Mobb Deep's first album, produced by DJ Premier and Large Professor. Havoc and Prodigy, still in their teens, spun a raw and unfiltered narrative of their experiences in the city. Their lyrical prowess and the grimy beats of their debut album marked a significant moment in East Coast hip-hop. It was an unapologetic portrayal of street life. The two had a falling out in 2012 before squashing it in 2013, right before the untimely death to Prodigy. From the streets of Philadelphia, the Roots exploded onto the scene with their debut album, Organic. This ensemble didn't just make songs, they changed the game, infusing the genre with their blend of jazz and rap. Their impact on hip-hop was both immediate and far-reaching, shaking up the industry and laying the groundwork for many artists that came after them. Their work was a call to consciousness, delivering social commentary through their innovative beats and lyrical sophistication. The Roots' debut album, Organics, marked a pivotal moment in the evolution of hip-hop. The Roots later on went to win several awards, including 3 Grammy Awards so far, and made appearances on movies and television, like The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. From the depths of the sea back to the block, Snoop Doggy Dogg, funky as the Doc. We're talking about none other than the legendary Snoop Dogg. His debut album, Doggy Style, dropped in '93, and it was nothing short of a cultural phenomenon. The album produced by the mastermind Dr. Dre was a masterpiece that perfectly contained the essence of the West Coast. It was a fusion of gangster rap and funk, resulting in a sound that was smooth and unique. Tracks like Gin and Juice and Who Am I, What's My Name became instant classics, showcasing Snoop's laid-back flow and Dr. Dre's top-tier production skills. Doggy Style was not just an album, it brought the West Coast to the forefront of hip-hop, challenging the dominance of the East Coast. It was bold, raw, and unapologetic, reflecting on the realities of the life in the LBC. This album's success was monumental, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200 and selling over 800,000 copies in its first week. But Doggy Style was just the beginning. After its release, Snoop's career took off. He went on to release a string of successful albums, collaborated with some of the biggest names, and even ventured into film and television. Snoop has also used this platform to speak on social issues and advocate for change. His influence extends beyond rap, shaping fashion trends, language, and popular culture. Despite the controversies that surrounded him, Snoop has managed to maintain his relevance and popularity over the decades. Whether he's dropping bars, hosting a cooking show, or coaching a youth football league, Snoop does it all with an effortless cool that is truly his own. His impact on hip-hop culture is undeniable. He's not just a rapper, he's a trendsetter, a trailblazer, and a cultural icon. From New York to Cali, 1993 was a golden year for hip-hop. It was a time that saw the birth of legends, the kind that laid the groundwork for the rap game as we know it today. These artists with their debut albums started a revolution. They continue to inspire a whole new generation of rappers, lyricists, and performers. Before we start talking about the legends that made their debuts in '94, for now, that's a wrap.